This is David with Inspire Precision, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the new Pinty PCP air rifle. Is this just a Air Force knockoff, or is this worthy of going on your gun rack? Inspire Precision is sponsored by Triton. Drop down in the description below to take a look at some of their products. What I've got before me is the new to market Pinty PCP rifle. That's really what they call it. There's no other description. And this is one of the 3 rifles that Pinty is bringing to market. It looks extremely similar to something that you might already be familiar with, or something else that is already on your gun rack. The Air Force series of rifles. There are some aesthetic differences. I will admit that I do not have an Air Force rifle, and I have never handled one, so I cannot make a direct comparison. But of all the things that I have seen, these are very similar. What is different about the two is the price point. This Pinty PCP rifle comes in at below $300, and that is much different than the Air Force rifles in the quality that many of you already know and love. So just to preface this, I paid for this rifle with my own money. I bought this from a seller on eBay, which turned out to be a problem and a nightmare. I'll get into that a little bit later. But I did buy this with my own money, and I just want to share with you my first feelings about it. We're going to take it out in front of Chronograph. We're going to do some shooting. We're going to see if this lives up to Pinty's claims that they have made. So I've got a list here of what Pinty claims that you can expect from this rifle. So this is 34.5-inch overall length. It's about 5.2 pounds without the optic that you're going to place on it. They claim that with this 350cc tank that you're going to get 120 shots at the 3600 psi level. Although looking at the pin stamp on this tank, it is rated for the full 4500 psi or the 30 MPa based on this pin stamp. So if you trust that pin stamp, then this can be pumped up to about 4500 psi. So 120 shots at the 3600 psi, that's not bad. So it's a single shot, you load a pellet in every single time. Pinty also claims that the trigger is a 3-pound trigger, and while very heavy at 3 pounds, the trigger I don't think is 3 pounds. I think it's significantly more. That's what Pinty claims. Now, I've been playing around with this rifle because of the bad experience I had when I bought it from a eBay seller. And eBay was the absolute best price, so that's where I decided to purchase it. And I probably should have went straight to Pinty, although I have read some bad reviews on how this rifle will arrive from everybody that has received one. One of those bad reviews, bad feedback that people are giving is it doesn't ship in an overbox. So this shipped to me in a box with some foam padding, and that is it. And people are complaining that the bolt has come out in the box without any damage, or in my case, the screw that holds the entire bolt handle on was completely sheared off in half, rendering this rifle completely inoperable. And through some back and forth with that eBay seller, they were not willing to take this back on return and to send me a new rifle for whatever reason. So they're going to get bad feedback from me. I'm not even going to mention their name, so be careful who you buy from. But what they did, they gave me a credit back for my trouble. And of course, they didn't know that I have a machine shop that I could fix this rifle myself, but I had to drill a hole in that screw. I had to easy out the threads, and I had to figure out how to get this bolt handle back on, and I did. I think it is about the same as the original intention of the design, But that was my horror story with the shipment of this rifle. Now, there was really no indication that that should have been sheared off. There was no hole in the box. Nothing was amiss. It was just shaken about loose in the package with a sheared off screw. It is worthwhile to note that that screw is aluminum, and I don't know why that you would just have an aluminum screw there. They should have made it steel in the first place, like my repair. Other than that, because I have had a lot of chance to play around with it during this whole saga of me getting this working correctly, I was able to contact Human Power and find out that this is actually a genuine Human Power cricket valve, which for a rifle of this cost is very interesting. Through the course of me playing around with it, there are some things that I absolutely do not like. One is the trigger. The trigger is absolutely not 3 pounds, guys. It's maybe 6 or 7 pounds. It is extremely heavy, and that is going to affect how you take shots on target. Got to have a lighter trigger than that. As far as I can tell, there is no way of adjusting that trigger unless you're going to go internally into this rifle and polish some surfaces and make it a little bit better. Along with the heaviness of the trigger, it's got quite a bit of creep, and it feels like there's quite a bit of grittiness in that trigger. Maybe that's something that will get better over time as I shoot it. Additionally, this moderator that they give you is unique to this specific rifle. It has some sort of special threads. Now, I haven't gotten to the point where I have measured what thread pitch these are, but this is not the standard thread pitch that I would have liked to see on this Pinty rifle. And I just got a buck crony from Buckrail, Terry over at Buckrail. Picked that up with my own money also, and I really wanted to get that going and test that out. I mean, I can't even get this thing back on. There we go. I really wanted to test out the new Buck Crony on this rifle and get you some good information on the rifle with that. But I guess I'm going to have to go to my old Caldwell shoot-through because I can't actually screw that on. Like I said, I don't know what thread that is. And if anybody does know what thread that is, please put it in the comments. The last thing I don't really like about it initially is this style of bolt, and not having any Air Force rifles to refer back to. I don't know if this is a similar problem across the board. It might be, it might not be. They've had a long pedigree. It's probably not an issue. But the bolt on this is subject to a lot of misalignment depending on how you use it. I have found if I don't stick my finger right close to the actual bolt, instead of, cantilevering it over on the end of this bolt assembly, you can see that it catches. So I have to push very close, and it'll actually be able to cock the action. If I push far away, you see that it misaligns. I don't really like that. I think that is an absolute design flaw. I think that maybe there's some play in this. The components really just don't line up right. If you have problems actually operating the rifle and how it's intended to start, maybe I just got a bad one. I don't know if it's supposed to be like this. Again, I can't send it back and get another one unless I put out the money for another one. That aside, it is able to be cocked if I put my thumb very close to the action on the bolt handle there. Then you would be loading a pellet in, and when you bring this back, when you bring the back to lock it in position, the same misalignment could lead to a negligent discharge. The way this rifle operates is just a weight that gets dropped on the bolt, and it pushes open this poppet valve, and the air goes through, pushes the pellet out, etc., etc. I think you guys already understand how that's going to work. But because of this misalignment in the bolt, I can catch the poppet valve, and if I force it enough, I'm going to release that poppet valve, and I'm going to empty that charge into the barrel, and it's going to go off when I don't intend it to. So you're going to have to be super careful with that. Aside from the misalignment issues being pretty much the thing I don't like most about it. I do like the look of this rifle. You've got an adjustable hammer spring, very adjustable, may I add. So if you were not really getting the 850 feet per second that they claim, we can bump this thing right up. This is also, the regulator is also set to, if I look at it right, approximately 16 megapascals or 160 bar. I will have the PSI conversion for that right here. And you can set this just like you would set any other human power cricket valve. So what we're going to do is I'm going to sight this rifle in off camera with this scope that I've got. This is just a CV Life 3-9. We're only going to be shooting this at 20-ish, 25 yards-ish at most in our indoor range. So we'll get that sighted in, and I'll get my chronograph set up. We'll see if we can get the claimed feet per second by doing some adjustments, or maybe it's 850 feet per second right off the bat, and that would be great. And we're going to see how much this bolt misalignment affects how we actually can shoot at a bench. And I'm hoping that it doesn't. I've got my hat on here. It is absolutely frigid outside. Lots of snow, lots of wind. This winter is kicking my butt. But we're going to get out today in my indoor range and see what this can deliver. And then we'll come back inside to do a final analysis and give you our findings. Hopefully we'll have some good conclusions for you guys in order for you to make a good, informed decision about it. This is something that you want to get into, or if you want to pass on it for now. All right, guys, out here at my indoor range, I'm guessing I'm sitting at about 22 yards-ish. As you can see on my chronograph, I've already got a duplicate count. I did some test shots to get that hammer spring all set up and just to see what I would get. So I've got a duplicate sitting at around 870. So I'm just going to throw off a 20 shot group here to see what kind of consistency we have on the regulator here from this Pinty PCP. After that, we're going to do some shots on target and see what kind of impression that I can get. You can see if I got some steam in front of my mouth here. It is bitterly cold. I'm thinking it's probably about 10 degrees Fahrenheit out here. Not great for shooting, but let's get into this chronograph test. So we'll do 20 rounds. I've got my favorite chronograph pellets here, the Crosman Premier Hollow Point 14.3 grains. We're going to be using those. And, we're sitting at, I don't know, about 25 MPa, 250 bar, 3600 PSI on this tank. And again, we've got about 16 MPa, 160 bar. I'll put the conversion down below. I don't know it right offhand in PSI. So let's start this 20 shots so I don't have to be out here forever. I'm not finding that this bolt misalignment is really affecting me much. So let's just get some shots downrange and see the consistency. 874. 875. That's 2. Okay, this is number 3 at 876. Number 4 at 875. Shot number 5. $874. Shot number 6. 877. Shot number 7. 872. Shot number 8. 876. Number 9. 870. Shot 10. Whoop. Shot 10. 871. Shot 11. 880. Shot 12. 875. Number 13. 867. Number 14. 874. Number 15. 879. Number 16. 878. 17. 873. Shot 18. 872. Shot, I believe this is shot 19. Oh, error 2. Let's try again. It's the first error I've had. $874. We'll do a couple more, guys. A couple more won't hurt. I think I'm on 20, but let's do a few more. I won. That was 875. $877. Shot 22. 878. 23. 874. 24. 875. And shot number 25. All right, we'll open that bolt. That last one was 878. I am extremely impressed with the consistency of this Pinty PCP. I don't know why I really should be surprised, because it has a genuine human power cricket valve. In my experience, some of the really good quality regulators. This valve here from Euban Power. Been extremely impressed with their product offerings overall. And this one is no slouch either. Very, very good shot string there. You know, I think I had a high of 880 and a low of, I don't know, was it 870 or something. I'll put a graph towards the end of the video. Maybe I'll put it right here. But extremely impressed with that shot string. So I'm going to reset up my camera. We're going to get a target for down at the backstop over there, the pellet trap, and let's get a couple good 5-shot groups. I'm going to try as hard as I can. This trigger is obnoxiously heavy, and that hurts the whole experience. I don't feel it getting better as I shoot it much. It's going to take a lot more than 25 shots for that trigger to settle in. Even if it will smooth itself out, it's probably not going to get any lighter. All right, so after those 25-ish shots that I shot through the chronograph, we're sitting at a 200 bar right now, 20 MPa. I think I've got enough for 20 more shots in this cold weather. And I've got 2 large targets down there that you can see and 2 tiny little targets, and we're going to go for groups. We'll see what this guy can do given this pretty awful trigger. But we'll give it our best shot. All right. Let's go for the top left large target. See what kind of groups we can get. A little off there to the right. Oh, there's a little bobble of that bolt misalignment. My goodness, that trigger is so heavy. And it's pretty gritty. I think I might be stacking them up, which is amazing considering this trigger. 2 more shots in that group. One more. These single shot rifles just take a long time to shoot. Excellent, or excellent so far. No complaints with that group that I'm getting. That group is very good. Again, you know, I'm at what? 21, 22 yards. Let's go for the bottom right-hand target. I'm going to dial in a little bit of left. See if that brings us a little bit in. Maybe a little bit too far. We'll keep going on that target. A little bobble on that bolt misalignment again. Whew, that trigger. I know I keep complaining about it, but man, this is shot 3 of that group. I'm trying to do the best group that I can. It might actually be working. Shot number 4. Shot number 5. That one, I don't know if that one was as good as the first. We're going to do 2 more groups though on those little tiny targets. Let's try to pull these off as fast as I can. Top right. One. 2. Oh, another bobble with that bolt misalignment. Don't really like it. That's 3, 4, and 5. I still think those are very, very good groups considering. One more 5-shot group. And then we'll get out of this cold and go inside. Alright, bottom left small. Shot 1. My fingers are starting to freeze. Ooh. Shot 2. Three. 4. That one didn't feel like I've seated it all the way. 4. And number 5. Whew! My hands are feeling the effects, guys. Put that on safe. We'll keep that closed there. Ooh, guys. Those groups, the first 3 anyway, the last 5-shot group, I really bungled. My hands are getting cold. The trigger is very, very stiff. But those first 3 groups, extremely, extremely nice. I don't know if I could expect any more from this rifle. Sub $300, $270-ish. I really thought that I was going to have a lot of issues with this bolt misalignment. It's just not great, but as long as I keep my thumb towards the center of the action, not on the edge of the bolt. If I use the edge of the bolt, every time it'll hang up. If I keep my thumb on the inside of this bolt handle, it won't hang up. And the same coming backwards. If I pull it straight back, it won't hang up. If I use the edge of that bolt handle, it'll hang up every time. I'm not a fan of that. I really don't like that. I think that they can improve the tolerances of that. But I think you could get used to actuating that bolt properly without any malfunctions. Let's get back inside and give some final conclusions. When I first bought it, again, I paid for this with my own money. Nobody sent me this. Pinty didn't sponsor this video. They didn't know anything about this. I just wanted to review this for you guys. There's not really a lot out on this rifle yet, and hopefully that chronograph test and the X-ray testing was of some value to you. But I am absolutely very, very surprised because I just thought this was going to be a cheap imitation of the Air Force line of rifles. And guess what? It's an imitation of the Air Force line of rifles, and it's inexpensive. But I think that it performs extremely well. You're going to have to look at the shot consistency and the accuracy of this rifle, and you might have to overlook the 3 downsides that I found. Non-typical threads on this moderator. It is not super loud. It might be, city backyard friendly. Not really sure. I don't care about that, but I really, really want to be able to put a standardized moderator on it. I just can't do it. That is a very big downside. The trigger is obnoxious. So gritty, very, very, very stiff. It didn't seem to matter a whole lot with my groups out there. I was taking my time. I was trying to give you the best comparisons on the accuracy wise for this. There's just got to be something we can do with that trigger. Maybe I'll take it apart. The last thing I just don't like is the misalignment possibilities with this bolt. I just think that you should be able to grab onto that bolt handle and drive that home, cock that hammer weight forward, and bring it back without any issues. You know, I will get over the fact that I have to put my finger at the base of that bolt handle, but I don't like it. So those three things I really don't like. It's probably worth the money even with those three gripes. You could probably get by those because this performed extremely well. The 25 shot chronograph string that I produced was extremely good for 10-degree Fahrenheit weather. Now you do have a long pause because you got to load this single so it has time for the plenum to fill. You cannot ask for any better shot consistency in such cold weather. I would expect that in normal summer weather, 70 degrees, that this regulator would perform even better. Right now we are sitting at about 18 megapascals or about 180 bar. You can get quite a few more shots out of it. I think from the full fill that I had about 300 bar, that I have maybe 80, 85, maybe 90 shots. I didn't count how many shots I took when I was sighting in the scope here. Again, in warmer weather, you're gonna get so much better performance out of the air. What did you think, guys? Throw a comment down below. Tell me what you think of the Pinty PCP rifle. There are two more. Maybe we'll get those too and we'll review those in later videos. If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, and if you feel compelled to subscribe, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to wrap it up for this video. This was David with Inspire Precision, and I want to remind you guys to break out of your comfort zone, learn a new skill, and have a great day.